1.
Dr. Manette at home? Miss Lucy at home? Miss Pross at home? As I am home by myself, I'll go upstairs. I wonder that he keeps that reminder of his sufferings by him.
And why wonder that?
I should have thought.
Who you have thought. How do you do?
I am pretty well, thank you. How are you?
Nothing to boast of.
Indeed?
Ah, indeed. I am very much put out about my ladybird.
Indeed.
For gracious sake, say something else besides indeed, or you'll fidget me to death.
Really then?
Really is bad enough. Yes, I'm very much put out.
I ask the cause.
I don't want dozens of people who are not all worthy of Ladybird to come here looking for her.
Do dozens of people come for that purpose?
Hundreds.
Dear me.
I have lived with the darling, or the darling has lived with me and paid me for it, which she certainly has never done. You may take your effort of it. If I could have afforded to keep either myself or her for nothing since she was 10 years old, and it's really very hard. All sorts of people are most in the last degree worthy of the pet, are always turning up when you begin it.
When I begin it, Miss Pross.
Didn't you? Who brought her father to life?
Oh, if that was the beginning,
It wasn't the ending, I suppose. I say when you began it, it was hard enough. Not that I have any fault to find with Dr. Manette, except that he is not worthy of such a daughter, which is no imputation on him, for it was not to be expected that anybody should be under any circumstances. But it really is doubly and trebly hard to have crowds and multitudes of people turning up after him to take Ladybird's affections away from me. There never was, nor will be, but one many worthy of Ladybird, and that was my brother Solomon, if he didn't make a mistake in his life.
as we happen to be alone for the moment, and are both people of business, let me ask you, does the doctor, in talking with Lucy, never refer to the shoemaking time yet?
Never.
And yet keeps that bench and those tools beside him?
Ah, but I don't say he don't refer to it within himself.
Do you believe that he thinks of it much?
I do.
Do you imagine?
Never imagine anything. Have no imagination at all.
I stand corrected. Do you suppose you go so far to suppose sometimes?
Now and then.
Do you suppose that Dr. Manette has any theory of his own preserved through all the years relative to the cause of his being so oppressed, perhaps even to name the oppressor?
I don't suppose anything about it but what Lady Bird tells me.
And that is?
That she thinks he has.
Now don't be angry by me at me asking all the same questions, because I am a mere dull man of business, and you are a woman of business.
Dull?
No, 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 surely not. To return to business, it is remarkable that Dr. Manette, unquestionably innocent of any crime as we are assured he is, should never touch upon that question. I will say I will say with me, though he had bad business relations with many years ago, and we are not to imitate, I will say with that fair daughter to whom he does not devotedly attach to before him. Believe me, Miss Pross, I don't approach the topic with you out of curiosity, but out of one zealous interest.
Well, to the best of my understanding, and bad, The best you'll tell me. He's afraid of the whole subject.
Afraid?
It's plain enough, I should think, why he may be. It's a dreadful remembrance, besides, that his loss of himself grew out of it. Not knowing how he lost himself or how he recovered himself, he may never feel certain of not losing himself again. That alone wouldn't make the subject pleasant, I should think.
True, and fearful to reflect upon. Yet I doubt irks in my mind, Miss Pross, whether it is good for Dr. Manette to have the suppression always shut up within him. Indeed, it is this doubt and uneasiness it sometimes causes me that has led me to our present confidence.
Can't be helped. Touch that string, and he instantly changes for the worst. Better leave it alone. In short, must leave it alone. Like or no like. Sometimes he gets up in the dead of the night and will be heard by us overhead there, walking up and down in his old prison. She hurries to him, and they go on together, walking up and down, until he is composed. But he never says a word of the true reason of his restlessness to her, and she finds it best not to hit at it to him. In silence, they go walking up and down together, till her love and company brought him to himself.